In this changing market, appraisals are killing deals by coming in low and making housing prices come in low. In this video, I'm going to give you helpful ways to help you increase your appraisal value. Now, this works whether you have a refinance or you're going to buy a home, which is a regular appraisal. The first thing you want to do are find some comparables that represent this. If you are selling your home on your own, then you need to get in there. You can look on realtor.com, Zillow.com, find some similar comparisons. If you're using a real estate agent, let them get to work and start finding some of this stuff for you. Now, if you are using a realtor, they should have already done this when they told you the suggested list price. So they should already have a list of stuff. I personally save these for my clients. That way, when the appraisal comes up, I've already got that list ran. I can easily hand it over to the appraiser. Now, frankly, I've seen some pretty stubborn appraisers, and sometimes they don't want to use this. Like, they'd rather do the hard work themselves. I don't know why. I'd rather do the easier work. But either way, I'm going to be sneaky, and I'm going to slide it right there on the counter so it's available in case they do want to take a peek and see what comparables I've ran. If you are doing these, make sure that you're not using any comparables that have happened more than 6 months. They prefer them to be as recent as possible. The more recent, the better. And you also want to make sure they are similar in style and age. So obviously, if you've got a 1970s two-story, you're not going to want to compare it to a brand new construction build that's a ranch. Like, those are two totally different properties, and that would not make sense to be a comparable. The second thing, go through and make a list of any of the upgrades you have done, and if you can, provide receipts for how much it cost you. This is going to prove to the appraisers how much work that you've put into your house and why your home should be more variable. That doesn't even make sense. Well, it should be more valuable. And to take it even further, go ahead and let them know the years that this was done. So all the repairs and upgrades that were done in 0 to 1 years, 1 to 2 years, 2 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years, you get the list. But break it down so they can know when these were done and how much value this can add to your home. So when appraisers are running their comparables, they are going to look for the similar styles. Like I said, they're going to match up bedroom to bedroom. So they're going to look for something similar to yours in the bedroom and bathroom count. And then they're also going to look at any other extras, like, does yours have a pool? Does it have a fireplace? What about a garage? And some of those. Obviously, it doesn't make sense for you to go and add on and do some of this stuff just to get an appraisal to come in higher, but you can do other things by providing them with the upgrade list to show why your home is nicer than some of these other homes. Now, you obviously won't get your money back for doing some of those upgrades, but I did do a video recently, so check that out at the end, about what upgrades will bring you more value when you are selling your home. So once your appraiser looks at all this info, he is going to decide where it comes in to the other home. So it's either going to come in at average condition, less than average condition, or above average condition. We obviously want to get that above average condition, and we can get that by having a really well-kept home with upgrades, which is going to in turn add more money. The third thing is to fix anything that needs repairs. Now, frankly, you guys should have already done this when you listed your home. Hopefully, you went through and you looked at everything and fixed any of the peeling paint or cracked baseboards or anything like that to have your home sell ready. But if you did not, now is a great chance to do that. And depending on what kind of financing your buyer is using, some of those things will be required with the appraisal. So if they're getting like FHA or USDA, you can't have peeling paint, missing siding or cracked siding, cracked windows. There's just some other things like that you cannot have. So just make sure you go through and you've already checked all that out, because one, it's going to mean the appraiser won't flag it for you, and that's not something else you have to repair. But two, it's just going to give the appraiser a better impression of your home, so he doesn't have to worry about those things. Speaking of leaving a good impression, you want to make sure you do this for the appraiser. Now look, I know how it goes because I'm in the process of selling my home. You work really, really hard, you get it all ready for showings, and it's clean and it's presentable, and then the second it goes under contract, you're like, well, I ain't worried about that, and you let it go back to normal day-to-day life. But we can't do that because we want that appraiser to have an excellent impression of this home. So we want to make sure that it looks just as good for him, if not better than it did for that potential buyer. One of the ways you can do that is your curb appeal. Got to make sure that grass is cut, weeds are pulled, it's blown off, there's no leaves piled up. For some of y'all up north, maybe check on the snow and ice. We don't have to deal with that, so whatever you have to do with that. But make sure that it has really good curb appeal, because that's going to be his very first impression when he walks up to the home. This is also a really good chance for you to go around the outside of your house, check the siding, make sure there's no cracks or repairs that need to be done, and see if it needs a good pressure washing just to make it look upkept and very nice. Now, we need to get your home ready just like you did for the showings. Make sure all lights are on, all interior doors are open. Make sure there's no one using the bathroom or sleeping in the bed. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but trust me, I wouldn't mention if it hadn't happened. Get up, we got If you have pets, make sure they're out of the way, preferably off-site, because it's hard to think. If you got a dog barking at you, I know because my dog barks at me all the time, it's hard to think. But if you can't get them off-site, at least put them in a kennel somewhere where they're put away. And then also make sure all dog poop is gone. Like, you don't want the appraiser having to do a Mission Impossible stunt out there dodging dog poop while trying to assess your home. And even worse, what if he steps in it and then now his day's ruined, he's got poop on his shoes, he's trying to clean that off. You don't want him in a bad mood when he's trying to give a value on your home. So just take that extra step and go ahead and pick it up. Speaking of good impressions, you sure would leave a good impression on me if you would go ahead and like this and subscribe to my channel, because it really does help. All right, this stuff goes right in line with our number five. That's the number 2. Our number 5, give the appraiser a good experience. So we don't want him coming into a home with a bad feeling and not welcoming. We want it to be a positive thing. And this starts with a really good deep clean. A clean house presents as a house that is very taken care of. So that just sets the mood for some really great foundational work. So think about it. If he comes in and he sees cobwebs everywhere and dirty, gross doors and all that stuff, he's going to think, well, they didn't even have time to clean this stuff up. Why would they have taken care of the other maintenance things that would make this house last longer and worth more? So it just makes a much better impression to have your house clean. I actually had this happen with one of my clients. She already kept a really clean house, but we got a really high offer, and she was like, okay, Lindsey, what can I do to make sure that this appraises? And I said, well, the best thing you can do is just make sure your house is spotless. So she went in and she really deep cleaned everything, and when the appraiser got there, he even told her, wow, your house is so clean, I can tell you really take care of this. And she was like, yeah, this is really important to me. And wouldn't you know it, it came in for what we needed it to, and we didn't have any issues with the appraiser because he saw the house was so well maintained that he knew the other stuff had been taken care of as well. We also want to show that good Southern hospitality. I know you've heard your mama say you get more flies with honey than with vinegar. The same is true here. Why not be nice? It doesn't cost anything, and it certainly ain't going to hurt you. So even though we know the appraiser is going to pull factual information to get a value, at the end of the day, it's still his opinion. And you cannot tell me that people's opinions are not biased based on if they like somebody or the kind of experience they've had. It really is. Now, I'm not telling you that if you go in and you bake him a tray of brownies and you kiss his tail the whole time, that he's going to appraise it for like $50,000 higher than the recent comp. I mean, I probably would for you because I've got a really bad sweet tooth, but he's probably not. I'm not saying that's going to work, but it's never going to hurt to be nice to him and show him some professional courtesy. I actually had this backfire on me and my clients. So the appraiser got to the house to appraise their home, and he was late, and they just were so upset about it and gave him such a hard time about it. And then when he came in, they were criticizing everything. Said that he called the countertops by the wrong name and went with him room to room pointing out stuff that he was missing. So notably, he was mad and did not have a good experience. And how do you think our appraisal came in? $15,000 below where it should have. I had comps that did suggest that it should have been up there higher, and he wouldn't even reconsider them because he was so mad at the way they had treated him. It was unnecessary. I mean, yeah, I know he was late, but still, you've got to show some courtesy here and just have some kind of empathy and support towards them, and I promise it's going to be better for you. One final note on that same token is to make sure you stay out of the way. So appraisers do not need you following them around room to room saying, oh, look at this, look at that. What you do, you give them that packet of the comps, give them the upgrades you've done, anything else you think they need to, you give that to them. If you're going to be there, introduce it, and then step out of the way. Let them in and don't bother them. You don't even have to be there. You can leave it on the counter for them and let them have everything they need. Because think about it. If you go through and you're trying to do your job and you've got somebody in your ear bothering you, it just makes you more stressed. You're not as comfortable, and it's just not a good situation. So give them space. Let them breathe and let them do their job so they can give it the best value that's possible. I mean, just think about my clients I just told you about. They followed him room to room and got on his nerves. And that's probably one of the reasons why that appraisal did not come in like it needed to. And also the appraisers have to take pictures of the house. So if you're there, it's hard to snap a picture around you because people cannot be in them. So you don't want to cause any more stress to his job. You want it to be as pleasant as possible. If you have enjoyed this video, make sure you check out this one I was telling you about, where it goes over what repairs you should do that will actually improve your appraisal value versus which ones will hurt it. As always, I'm your unicorn real estate agent helping you turn your home dreams into reality.